Adrian Smith, the architect, also designed the world's tallest building, which is Burj Khalifa. Where is it at? Dubai. Roughly twice the height of this building, 2,717 feet tall. A steel and glass box. This is very indicative of what Mies van der Rohe did. His motto was beauty and simplicity, less is more. Not much, if any, architectural. Massive merchandise mart built here in 1931 by famous department store owner Marshall Field to consolidate his warehouses. 4.25 million square feet, 8 miles of corridor, 500 showrooms for wholesale furniture and apparel. The bus you see up there along the river, that is, they are merchant princes, Marshall First Hotel, Post Office Tavern, and so forth. How do we get our name? Well, when the Native Americans came traveling through here, this was all marshland filled with onion plants. And in their native language, they said it smelled like Chicago. 29. You'll notice the trees just above river height over here. Why is that a big deal? Well, back in 1929, this was the first building, office building, to have a public plaza for workers to go out, have lunch, and so forth. This is our water taxi. Pick up the water taxi if you wish, where you got on the boat. It'll take you all the way to Chinatown. Explore Chinatown. You're riding on the oldest tour boat company in Chicago. Wendella Boat Company is family owned and operated since 1935. And on the right hand side, I talked about Mies van der Rohe earlier. We did these in 65 and 67. Notice the walls are open here underneath the building. The commuter trains as well as Amtrak run underneath these buildings daily. They're built in a fashion they don't vibrate nor do they smell diesel. Now, as I mentioned, I grew up here. When I was growing up, the neighborhood just west of here was one of the worst neighborhoods in Sears Tower. All right? Willis Tower nowadays, 1,454 feet tall, held the record for the world's tallest building for 25 years. Look all the way up at the top on the 103rd floor. You'll see a bunch of glass structures sticking out. Who's done the ledge? Anybody? Oh, wow. All right, I did it. What it is a glass box. You walk outside the building, standing on a sheet of glass, looking down 103 stories. More steel used on that building than any in the world. You have to take multiple elevators to get to the top of it. They thought it'd be a target of the next attack. They had a hard time leasing space. In 2009, Willis, a London-based insurance company, agreed to lease 4% of the building. They got 25-year naming rights, hence the name. Futures option derivative exchanges. This used to be a massive trading floor right here in the middle of these two towers. No longer used. Why? As I mentioned, 99% of the trading is electronic. What's left down at the end of LaSalle Street, they use serrated corners on this building to get 16 corner offices per floor. Staying on the right, one of our newer buildings, the Bank of America, they used a step center core with 5-foot rippling setbacks, accentuating the building's verticality. This was done by Getchen Partners in 2021. sketched this building, as well as the one up here with the very narrow base, did that 4-year building. 333 West Wacker has a 365-foot curve, matching the curve of the river. The glass mirrors everything around it. The movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Dad's office, 16th floor. What you see right along the river here, that's the Jewelers building, based on a 15th century Italian monastery. 2/3 up are Tempieti that used to host water cannons. That's a belvedere at the top. Back in the day, the Jewelers actually drove their cars into an elevator, went up to their offices. This is our third tallest building in Chicago, the Aon Center, 1,137 feet tall. When they built that building in 1974, it was owned by a company named Standard Oil. The chairman's wife of Standard Oil insists they skin that building with Italian Carrara marble. The structure, that's the Chicago Marine Safety Station, home of the Chicago Police Department, Chicago Fire Department's Marine Safety Unit. And over here on the left-hand side, you'll see the Ferris 16 for freight and passenger traffic. Then in World War II, 16,000 Navy pilots trained here, including former President George H.W. Bush. It's a tourist attraction. The Ferris wheel, the carousel, lots of bars and restaurants, free to walk around. All right, our captain now is turning the boat sideways. This is a great photo opportunity, folks. You're welcome to stand up right now and take some pictures.
Oh, nice.
35 apartments, 20% affordable. And they have a Chicago window, which is a shallow bay, floor-to-ceiling glass on those windows. It looks like one of the Great Lakes cruisers are in here in Chicago. Yeah, the Victory over here. Yeah, there's now tours of the Great Lakes. That river project I talked about a little while ago, that's a water cannon there, shoots an arc of water every hour on the hour for 5 minutes across the river.